We have the Mays brothers joining us for this, but I tell you what, we're going to start with Cade, unless y'all want to do it this way. Any objections from media? We could go one at a time.
Whatever's better for y'all is good.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
No objections here, Bill.
Yes, sir.
all right. Well, we'll do both. Let's start with questions for Cade, and then we'll go to Cooper. We'll start with David Ubben, then we'll go to Rob Lewis.
Guys, I think yesterday Coach Ellerby said that Cooper has taken, I believe his quote was a big-time leap. Cade or Cooper, for you guys, what does that mean in your mind? Where do you see this leap happening?
I think personally for me, when he was talking about it, it kind of just took to me. I thought that I was, trying to get better every day. I've gotten a lot better with their whole technique. Everything's kind of different this year. So trying to just work on what they've implemented and do it better each and every day. That's kind of what I took it as. Yeah, I took it as Cooper's just came to work every day. He's really taken it upon himself to learn how to play center in this new offense and just working hard to just better his technique, better his game, just well-rounded. And just playing center in a new offense is not easy, learning it 1 year and then the next year having to learn a whole new offense. It's tough to do, and he's just really taken it upon himself to do that.
Cade, all the receivers that we have talked to this spring have said this offense is a wide receiver's dream. For an offensive lineman playing this fast, playing this many snaps, could you say the same thing? And how big of an adjustment has it been, the tempo?
Yeah, absolutely. We're playing football at the end of the day. So whatever offense it is, we're going to go out and play. And, I'm sure the wide receivers love, getting vertical down the field and stuff. But as an offensive lineman, it's the same thing. We're running the ball, passing the ball. It's very balanced. So, at the end of the day, it's football.
And just for you personally, how many different positions have you worked at this spring in practice, and which one are you most comfortable at?
I've played tackle and guard. I can play anything. So, I'm comfortable at all of them. So it doesn't really matter. My whole college career, I've kind of played everything and learned all the positions. So.
Patrick Brown, then Brent Hubbs.
I guess this is for both of you guys, but is this kind of what you guys envisioned, Cade, when you transferred here last year, was getting a chance to play with Cooper for a year or two, and you guys get to do stuff like this and hang out and play together?
Yeah, absolutely. Me and Cooper, we're super close. Everything we do it together, and I think everybody sees that, and it was our dream, growing up to be able to play together, and it wasn't planned for us to both to be sitting up here, but it's awesome to be able to do it. What do you think, man?
Shoot, I think he covered it pretty well. I think, it's just a really big blessing, honestly, to be able to share this experience. I don't think, there's probably only been a couple instances where people can play, much less just together, but really like play right beside each other like we did in the Florida game last year. So it's just been a really crazy experience, and it's just been everything we've asked for or dreamed of.
For both of you guys, two questions. One, what do you like about this offense and this offensive line style of play? And two, Cooper, you mentioned it's cool to have your brother beside you. How much does he boss you around? How much does he make calls for you up there? And how much do you tell him, hey, I got this, I'm in charge at the center? How does the dynamic work when you guys are beside each other on the practice field in a scrimmage or even in a game?
For sure. I think the dynamic is a lot different than I would have thought, because back in high school, there's probably a few clips you could pull up of him wringing my neck a little bit after the play or after I messed up a little bit. I think kind of more here I've matured a little bit and kind of come into my own. He doesn't really need to correct me that much. I think I'm on my game a little bit right now, so he kind of can stay away from it. I can kind of tell him what to do a little bit. And what I like doing, I like being able to play hard 24/7 through the whistle and lining back up as fast as we can and doing it again. I think it's just it wears defenses down a lot, and having a tired defensive lineman, it makes it a whole lot easier than a juiced up, ready to go defensive lineman.
Cade?
What I like about playing in this offense, you can really see the defense getting worn down, and like Cooper said,
as soon as the play is over, we're lining up and doing it again. So it doesn't give them the opportunity. You know, you play 6 plays against one group of D linemen, and like in the past, SEC teams will rotate a whole new D line. So you're 6 plays into a drive, and they're bringing in 3 fresh guys. In this offense, we don't give the opportunity for the defense to sub and bring in that new package. So you really see them wearing down. And as far as just like the first question you asked about helping Cooper and stuff, he's really, like, since his new staff has got here, he's really taking it on the shoulders to learn it and just thrive in his position and get the whole offense on the same page. And I'm proud of him for that.
Eric Kane, then Gustavo.
Hey, Cooper, you mentioned earlier there's a lot of differences in what you guys have been doing and what you're doing now. Can you tell us some of those differences from your perspective? And then for either one of you guys, tell me about the story of Dain Davis, man. It's one of, from my perspective, it's a pretty neat story coming out this spring and his progression into trying to earn a spot on this line.
Right. So basically, I think the biggest difference is, like I said, I mean, obviously it's just tempo and having a really, just a high-powered offense at, every level of the, game. It's just so intense and fast. It's kind of hard to describe, but, you guys will see it on game day.
As far as speaking on Dain, he's somebody that the whole line room has watched just work really hard and take it upon himself to learn the offense and ask questions. And, as an older guy, I've taken it upon myself to, help him with his game and stuff that I see him doing that I did as a young player. And, as far as hands, pass blocking, stuff like that, seeing stuff like in the defense and just he's done a really good job. He comes to work every day, works really hard. And, we're all proud of him. We were excited when he got put on scholarship, and he's just making the most of his opportunity.
Cade, you mentioned last year you both got to start versus Florida at Inland Stadium. What was the talk? How was your feeling, starting a game in Inland Stadium alongside with your brother in offensive line? And then Cooper, how was your reaction, starting the game in Inland Stadium alongside with your brother?
Man, it was just, we didn't really know, like, going into the game, like throughout the practice week, we didn't know if Cooper was going to be playing or if Brandon Kennedy would be back. And, when we got to the hotel and found out that Cooper was going to be playing, man, we were so excited and just how big of a blessing it would be, to have my family there watching, their sons. We grew up here and just watching us play together. And man, just, when we first lined up for the first play, I looked over and I was like, I had to pinch myself. I was like, man, this is really happening. This is crazy. We didn't, at the beginning of the year, we didn't think that, it was going to happen. But throw back to the first play of the Missouri game, we had a heavy package in, and Cooper was playing tight end. I was playing right tackle. And one of the first plays, I looked over and Cooper was lined up right behind me. So it was crazy just how the year shook out. It was a blessing.
For sure. As far as how I really thought of it, honestly, more than anything, I was really just nervous. Going out there against like a team like Florida for your first start, in the SEC, I kind of felt like I was like about to go against NFL competition. But once Cade told me that all I had to worry about was playing hard. He would take care of the calls for me and everything. It just really calmed my nerves and let me go out there and play to the best I could. And having guys like Trey and Cade beside me, it just made it a whole lot easier.
Wes Rucker, then Austin Price.
Yeah, I got one question for each of you. I guess I'll go to Cade first. Cade, I know you've said throughout your career, both at Georgia and Tennessee, you've played everywhere and that you're okay with playing anywhere. Is there a place where you think you play your best? When you're grading out yourself, is there a place that's maybe more natural or a place where you feel like you're at your best?
Yeah, I can play anywhere, but where I felt like I play my best ball is probably slid inside the right guard. I can play some right tackle. I'm really starting to get my fundamentals down at tackle. And I feel comfortable out there, more comfortable than I've probably ever felt. But I feel like when I grade myself, I play my best ball inside at right guard.
And for Cooper, I know that anyone who's got a brother knows that, you grow up and you compete against your brother and everything, right? It doesn't matter where you're playing sports, video games, just arm wrestling. Whatever it is. And when your brother is a couple years older than you, how tough can that be growing up trying to, I'm sure when y'all are wrestling and fighting around, he's a bigger guy, probably putting up bigger numbers. How much did that pressure you as a kid to sort of get better?
Shoot. Honestly, I think the hardest part of growing up, younger than Cade and what all he did, I don't think it was really even Cade. I mean, we didn't really like fight that much. Like our parents kind of kept us in line, and our mom didn't really let any of that fly of him beating up on me. But just having like those expectations, having a brother that, accomplished so much stuff, a couple years before you, just feeling like you have to live up to all that stuff and having a lot of people talking about it. I think that was the hardest thing, not even the bullying as a kid.
We'll go to Trey Wallace, then Vince Farrar.
And then me, Bill.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
That's all right.
Big Alston.
Hey, Cade, talk to me about Cooper. I mean, I know when he was a freshman and sophomore over at Catholic and you were doing your own thing, I think you maybe didn't spend as much time together, but how much have you really kind of appreciated that friendship? And what do you appreciate him from a brother standpoint? And then you boys have the younger brother, Camp, who is a mountain at 5 years old going on 6. Coop, you started his Instagram account. How much are y'all relishing being truly older brothers of a kid who's, just getting to kindergarten?
To answer your first question, just like when I was in high school and going through the process and stuff, and then even when I got out of high school, people when I would see articles that would be like Cade Mays' little brother, Cooper was I always told people that Cooper was going to be just as good, if not better than me. Just watching how he grew up and how he matured and how he handled his business every day and how he handled his recruitment. He's an old soul. And even as a young guy, he was always acted older than he actually was and always took stuff more serious than maybe people his age would have. And from school to football to, outside of life, Cooper's one of the best people, just his characteristics, one of the best people that I've ever been around. And I'm just super thankful for our friendship, for how close that we've gotten to be since I've come back home. And, you can't beat it. It's just things that brothers dream of.
Yeah. I don't even know how to really follow that one up. Camp, relishing the opportunity to have a little brother like that. It's really probably the best thing that's ever happened. I can't really speak for Cade, but I'm sure he would agree. It's probably the best thing that ever happened to our family and to me and Cade. Having an opportunity to just see a little version of of yourself. He's like me and Cade both. So just seeing a little version of ourselves running around, beating up on you, just he never stops. He's really he's the light of our family. If you want to be real, him and my mom, how it goes. He's I can't even explain.
For sure. He's a mixture between me and Cooper. And something that came to my mind when you asked the question, I took Camp this deer season. We were back home on a Sunday, and Camp had been watching me go hunting and stuff just our whole life. It's always hunting is a big thing in our family. And he had watched me go multiple times last year, and he asked me if he could go. So I took him on his first deer hunt. And then this past winter during duck season, he was always in the blind with us. He was always duck hunting with us. And the first juvenile weekend, he killed his first duck. And man, it was just the smile on his face just reminded me so much of me. And he's watching a little version of me grow up in that aspect. And I posted something on social media about that because just watching how much he enjoys the stuff that I enjoy growing up, it's so special. And the fact that we get to share it with him is even more special.
Hey guys, about recruitment at Tennessee, and you guys kind of doing everything you can to bring prospects to Knoxville. What does it mean to you to be able to represent the Power T, and also just trying whatever you can do to bring prospects to Knoxville? I know it means a lot to you guys, especially in the area. But can you talk about that for a little bit, please?
There we go. I think that's a local kid's dream. Honestly, is usually playing here, and then the next step I think that me and Cade both took on our shoulders was creating classes. I think I was one of the first in-state guys to commit, but I ended up just kind of taking that burden on my shoulders to get our class kind of started and trending in the right direction. We pulled in a pretty good class. I think that's the biggest thing that a guy can do, that's especially here local. I think that's a burden that every local kid should carry, is that they should kind of help bring kids along and hop on the board with the train, you know?
I think it is, you know, there's a pride here that there's a standard that's been set by the people who've come before us. We're in that Power T, and, you know, just the great teams that have come through here, and you know, trying to live up to them, and just honoring, you know, the people who have played here before us, and just letting the recruits see that it's a special place here. And, you know, there's a pride about this place, and there's just a good vibe here, you know.
Got one for each of you, unless the other wants to chime in. Cooper, for you, tell us about the quarterbacks, the differences, skill set, personalities, things like that. Bailey, Maurer, and Hooker. And then for Cade, what's it like being coached by Josh Heupel? Describe him.
You know, as far as the first question for me, I think all the quarterbacks are working really hard. They're all doing a really good job. You know, they've all got their own strengths and weaknesses that they go about it with. They all go about the day with the right mentality. They're all trying to lead really good. They're all, you know, they're getting better each and every day, and, you know, pushing the tempo, playing the way that the offense wants, or that the coaches want them to run the offense with. I think they're all just doing a really good job.
As far as Coach Heupel, you know, he brings a lot of energy every single day. And, you know, when he first got here, he really set a standard that we're going to be accountable to each other. We're going to do things right. And you know, we're going to get this thing trending in the right direction, but it all starts with doing the little things right, going to class, all the stuff is mandatory. And, you know, he's done a really good job, you know, holding us accountable to all that, and just, you know, bringing a family oriented, like a family oriented vibe to the building, and everybody's welcome, and everybody feels at home.
Last question to David.
Yeah, for the two of you guys, who's the toughest guy, toughest challenge on the front four when you line up across from them in practice?
I've been playing on the edge quite a bit, and the new guy, Byron Young, he's done a really good job. He comes to practice every day with the right mentality, a lot of juice, and just as a guy who's just got here, you know, he's playing football the right way, the way it needs to be played. You know, he's taking coaching. I see him get a lot of coaching, and, you know, he's taking all that in, and he's going to be a really special player here one day.
Yeah, I'll continue that, because, you know, I play on the inside, so I think they're all doing a really good job, you know, with Coach Gardner and everything. But I would say the hardest guy for me to block right now is probably Elijah Simmons. You know, he's a big load, and he's coming a little bit different this year.
All right. Thank you guys for your time.
Appreciate y'all.